A few years ago, I had a moment sitting alone in my living room late at night that honestly changed the way I looked at my life forever. The house was quiet, my son was getting older, and my daughter was growing up fast. And I remember thinking to myself, Joseph, how much time do you really have left to waste? I started thinking about my future, about retirement, about money, about my health, about my children, about all the years I spent working hard, but not always moving strategically. And then another thought hit me hard. I was getting older, but technology was getting younger. AI and K12 education was exploding. The world was changing fast, and I realized something scary. The educators who adapt will have opportunities, and the educators who refuse to adapt will struggle and eventually be replaced. And sitting there that night, I made a decision. I was no longer going to drift through life financially. I was going to become intentional with my money, intentional with my time, intentional with my health, and intentional with my future. Because my son Joseph Carlos is 16 and my daughter Juliana Sophia is almost 13, and I cannot waste time anymore. That moment changed me. Hello, I'm the digital avatar of Dr. Joseph Williams III, a full-time middle school principal who lives and works near Seattle, Washington. Dr. Williams created me to share practical AI strategies and real-world investing insights for K12 educators over 40 and who are playing catch-up with their savings and investments. And just a quick note, Dr. Williams is a K12 educator sharing his own insights. He is not a licensed financial advisor, so always consult a financial professional before making any financial decisions. Let's take a moment to be real about where we are right now as a profession. AI is transforming K12 education, not next year, not in 5 or 10 years, but right now. It is changing how we design lessons, how students learn, and how value is created. But here's the part most K12 educators are completely missing. This shift is not just about disruption. It's about your biggest financial opportunity for your K12 career right now. Because most K12 educators are consuming content, but very few are creating content. And that's where the big financial opportunity is today. And here's something you need to understand. AI is the worst it will ever be right now. Every single day, it's getting smarter, faster, and more powerful. Which means the K12 educators who choose to adopt it early will be the ones who benefit the most. Not because they're smarter, but because they were first movers. And today, I want to share some important wealth lessons that every K12 educator needs to hear right now. Now, the first wealth lesson is this: pay yourself first. And I know that sounds simple, but most people never actually do it consistently. Most people pay everybody else first: the landlord, the car payment, the cell phone company, the subscriptions, the restaurants, the entertainment, and then they try to save whatever is left over. But here is the problem. There is almost never anything left over. That cycle repeats year after year. And suddenly people wake up at 55, 58, or 62 years old wondering where all the time went. One of the biggest mindset shifts I ever had was realizing that my future self deserved to get paid too. Not just my current self, but my future self. The older version of me, the retired version of me. The version of me that wants peace, freedom, and options. The ability to travel and the ability to help my children. That version of me deserves investment now. And this is why automation matters so much. Because if you wait until the end of the month to save money, life will spend it for you. There will always be another reason to spend. That changes everything mentally because dependence creates fear, and once you automate saving and investing, you stop negotiating with yourself emotionally every month. You simply build quietly, consistently over time. That is how wealth actually happens. The second lesson is uncomfortable. Track every dollar, because most people are not honest about where their money is really going. And I'm not talking about major purchases. I'm talking about small daily habits that quietly drain your future. Food delivery, convenience spending, subscriptions you forgot about. And here's what makes this dangerous. Most people normalize financial bleeding. Little leaks become giant holes over time. Because attention creates awareness, and awareness creates control. I remember sitting down one day and really looking at my spending patterns honestly. It wasn't one massive bad decision ruining progress. And what I discovered shocked me. It was small emotional spending repeated over and over again. And this is why discipline matters, because money is emotional for many people. People spend when they're stressed. People spend when they're bored. People spend when they feel unsuccessful. People spend to reward themselves. But if you are serious about building wealth, you must become conscious of your habits, because every dollar you spend is a vote. A vote for your present or a vote for your future. Here's another truth. A lot of people are trying to look rich instead of becoming financially secure. And social media has made this problem even worse. Everybody wants the appearance of success. Luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive vacations, fancy lifestyles. But behind the scenes, many people are drowning financially. And the scary part is this. People will sacrifice long-term peace for short-term appearances, and that's dangerous. Real wealth is often quiet. Real wealth often looks disciplined. Real wealth often requires saying no when everybody else is saying yes. And honestly, one of the most powerful things a person can develop is the ability to delay gratification. Because delayed gratification creates freedom. When you stop needing validation from other people, you start making better financial decisions. And that's where stealth living becomes powerful. Living below your means intentionally creates margin, and margin creates options. Options to leave toxic situations, options to travel, options to invest, and options to breathe. And let me say this clearly, there is nothing wrong with enjoying life. But there is something wrong with financing a fake lifestyle while secretly struggling financially. That stress catches up eventually. This lesson right here might be the biggest opportunity of this entire generation for K12 educators. Build quiet income. And this is exactly where AI changes the game. Right now, we are living through one of the biggest technological shifts. And this shift is not just about disruption, it's about your biggest financial opportunity for your K12 career right now. K12 educators can use AI tools to create additional income streams online. Today, one K12 educator with knowledge, consistency, and courage can create videos, launch courses, build digital products, grow a YouTube channel, create coaching programs, write ebooks, because money follows value. Not titles, not complaining, not fear, not excuses, value. That was nearly impossible for ordinary people 30 years ago. But now, the gatekeepers are disappearing, and the K12 educators who move early will have a massive advantage. And let me be clear, you do not need millions of followers. You do not need to become famous. You simply need to become useful and valuable. And the beautiful thing about quiet income is this, it creates leverage. Instead of trading every hour for money forever, you begin creating systems that can continue producing value even while you sleep. That changes everything mentally, because dependence creates fear. But leverage creates confidence. And this next lesson is deep. Because most people think their biggest problem is lack of income. But often the bigger problem is lack of automated systems. Motivation is unreliable, feelings change, discipline fluctuates, but systems keep working. That's why automation matters so much. You remove emotion from the process, and honestly, sometimes you need to make it harder to access your own money. Separate accounts, no debit card, no easy app access, no emotional spending access, because temptation is real, and every person has moments of weakness. But self-control becomes much easier when your systems are stronger than your emotions. Wealth is not about what you spend, it's about what you own. That mindset shift changes everything, because ownership compounds. And here's what many people miss. Even small investing matters psychologically. You stop seeing yourself as only a worker, because every investment you make is training your identity. And one of the biggest mistakes many K-12 educators make is assuming that their paycheck alone will save them financially. It won't. Income definitely matters, but ownership changes your future. This next lesson requires honesty. Most people budget backward. They spend first, then they try to save later. And that approach keeps people financially trapped for decades. Wealthy people think differently. They prioritize wealth building first. And yes, that requires sacrifice. Sometimes you have to say no to temporary pleasures. Sometimes you have to avoid lifestyle inflation. And this is where maturity matters, because mature people understand this. Every financial decision has a long-term consequence. Every decision compounds. Good decisions compound, but bad decisions compound too. And this is why financial discipline becomes so important after 40. Because time matters more now, and you no longer have decades to waste. Debt traps are everywhere now, and many people don't even realize they're trapped. Car payments, credit cards, buy now, pay later, consumer debt, lifestyle debt. Because debt creates dependence, and dependence limits freedom. Real wealth is not about appearances. Real wealth is about flexibility, peace, options, breathing room, freedom. That's the goal. Listen carefully. I truly believe the next 10 years are going to create massive separation between people who adapt and people who don't, especially in K-12 education. AI is changing everything. And the K-12 educators who learn how to create value, use technology, will position themselves differently for the future. Not overnight, but over time. And honestly, this is personal for me now, because I understand something deeply at this stage of life. Time matters, health matters, peace matters, freedom matters. And I do not want to spend the next chapter of my life financially stressed because of poor decisions made repeatedly over prior decades. I want options. I want flexibility. And I want to continue building. I want to continue growing. and I want to help other K-12 educators realize that it is not too late to change direction. But it does require discipline, because consistency, AI technology, and innovation are undefeated. And if you'd like to create your own AI avatar to share your ideas, amplify your voice, and build your brand online, then please visit my Stand store today. There will come a time in the not-too-distant future when every K-12 educator will have their own digital avatar. So imagine where you could be 12 months from now if you started today with your own AI avatar, your content growing, your confidence growing, and your income growing. It's time to amplify your voice, scale your presence, and build your brand with your own AI avatar. I'll see you in the next video.